Oh, I gotta take a painkiller.
7777777 less than 3.
Metal Mario 64, thank you so much for the 1,000 bits. Thank you, thank you. Thank you very, very much. 7777777. Hey, Doc Markev. Yeah, I saw it on the Switch launch menu just there. And I think Zito was playing it yesterday, but I don't know what's actually going on with it. Like, what is in it? Do we know? Alright, yes, so for those who aren't aware, last time we discovered that the Bruce Goodman that was attacked in the evidence room was not Bruce Goodman. It was Detective Jake Marshall dressing up as Bruce Goodman so that he could try and steal the evidence from the SL9 incident. Oh my goodness. Karisu, thank you so much for giving the gift of 5 subs to the community. Holy Heckaroni, Derpy Lemon 115, Dolly Llamas 01, Teddy Wars 99, Varga Rixie, and Dick Mandrake. Enjoy your limes, friends. Thank you so much, Karisu. How are you? No beg for sub, please, Jack those. Thank you. Alrighty, here we go. Sorry, Edgeworth. I didn't mean to get you in trouble. Don't worry about it. This is my problem, not yours. Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals! It's just Edgeworth being vulnerable again. 10 new enemy types, 3 new skills, 10 new weapons, a specialist shop, and a new hidden level. Nice! Hey, Astro! Thank you very much, everybody, for dropping by. It's very, very kind of you. I hope you're ready for the end of this case, maybe. Oh, I guess I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You got a lot of nerve, pal, making a detective run all around while on duty. And to top it all off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. I take it Lana's having you run errands again. Let me tell you, this is the last time, pal. Here, she asked me to give this to you if there was a break in today's trial. Evidence law? Edgeworth was talking about this just the other day. You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule number 1, no evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. You could at least study some evidence law, really. The chief prosecutor also wanted me to give you a message. A message? She said if you're planning to take him on, you're gonna need this book. Him. I guess I'll need to give this book a thorough read. It says thorough read, but I bet in the court record it's like 2 pages. Doesn't look like that book will do you any good now, though. All that's left now is the chief prosecutor's sentence. Let's have a look at this book. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. What a thorough read. Literally 2 rules.
Wait a minute. It's you.
Do you think the entire book is that written over and over and over and over again? All work and no play makes Phoenix a bad lawyer. That's where you're wrong, Detective. Huh? Haven't you figured it out yet? Why I'm still sitting in that prosecutor's seat, despite all these allegations being thrown at me. Mr. Edgeworth! The real trial today hasn't begun yet. What? What else is there left to do? Your credibility's been all but ruined with the forged evidence you were unaware of, and when Skye found out she unwittingly caused a man's death, and now you're telling me you want to do more? You've got to be kidding me, pal! You're missing the point, Detective. Lana didn't murder Detective Goodman. She merely stuck a knife into his dead body. That means the real killer is still out there. What? And we're gonna expose him. Hold on a second, I need to go put a pillow over the guitar. That sounds really weird. Hold on. It's like the acoustics of this room, when I raise my voice, it like reverbs off the guitar in the corner. It's very weird. No matter what it takes. This case has hurt too many people. It's time to bring it to an end. This case has hurt me too, mostly my throat.
Wait a minute. It's you again.
I don't play the guitar, no, I just sing. Dovercroft, thank you for the resub! Thank you for the 2 months of support and welcome back to the Lime Cult. Thank you very, very much for supporting the channel. I was gonna learn to play guitar because my dad and my brother both play, but nope, never happened. Hey, SL9086. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor. The inquiry committee is planning to impose harsh penalties for your actions. Thank you for the news, Your Honor. Yes, well... Normally, this is where the prosecution calls forth a witness. Emvahan, thank you so much for the 100 bits. But, this isn't easy to say. You see, there's some concern that you, Mr. Edgeworth, may have, struck a bargain. You think I may have manipulated the witnesses? I didn't say that. It's just, you see, everyone has been talking and... This is case 5, in the first game. Very well, Your Honor.
Oh, wait a minute. It's you again.
Cryptic Saiyajin, thank you so much for the resub! Thank you for the 2 months of support and welcome back to the Lime Cult. Thank you very, very much for supporting the channel. Thank you, thank you! I have a solution. A solution? That being the case, the prosecution will allow the defense to call forth all further witnesses. What? But there's no precedent for what you're proposing. There's also no precedent for the judge being like, yo, I think you're crooked as hell. Right in the middle of the courtroom. That's kind of fucked up, dude. Undeniably, this is an unusual arrangement, but a very effective one. It would prove that I haven't struck any deals with the witnesses. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you say? Hold on a second, I need to take a cap of this. Unbelievable. Edgeworth has found a way to continue the trial. Very well, the defense accepts the prosecution's proposal. Then it's settled. The, defense may now call forth the next witness. Mr. Wright, you do realize this is your last chance. If you call forth the wrong witness, this trial is as good as over. The defense calls. The time's finally come to bring out the real murderer. You guys ready? Lotta Heart. Hello, Gonzalez. Gumshoe, that's not nice, Gray. What the hell? Damon Gant. The defense calls Damon Gant to the stand. Damon Gant? What does he have to do with anything? As the defendant's partner 2 years ago, Mr. Gant has first-hand knowledge of the crime. I feel we should hear what he has to say about it. As luck would have it, he should still be in the courthouse. He would also be the least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? True. All right, bailiff, please escort Mr. Gant to the stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation. What is this, some kind of practical joke? I was just on my way to lunch. Your name and occupation, sir. Worthy, are you sure you want to do this? Your name and occupation! So, you want to play hardball, eh? Please, Mr. Gant. Fine. My name is Damon Gant. I'm the acting chief of police. Now then, Chief Gant, the court requests to hear your testimony. Oh, right. Oh, what's with the grim face? First, let's clear up this SL9 incident. Oh, you mean that time when Lana's sister murdered the prosecutor? Personally, I think it's been made pretty clear already.
Hello, Chippy. How are you? Why is he orange? 'Cause he eats a lot of carrots.
There are still some things unaccounted for. Oh, like what? Like the role you played in all of this. Son, either you're very brave or you're very foolish. I'm not feeling very brave.
Hey, Space Pirate, I'm good. How are you?
You are aware, of course, that a police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Are you threatening the defense attorney in the middle of the courtroom?
Weapons?
Sure, take my testimony, for example. I don't have to give it if I don't want to. What? Is that true? I'm afraid so. The chief of police has right to refuse to testify. Of course, such an action carries with it certain risks. Not to worry, I'm not here to hinder your trial. Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of time, don't say I didn't warn you. Very well, the witness may now begin his testimony. He's straight up threatening me. I like how they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna reprimand Edgeworth for unknowingly presenting evidence that he didn't realize was forged because it was given to him by the police department. However, the chief of police can straight up threaten the defense lawyer in the courtroom, and that's fine. Nobody minds. That's cool. As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. To make a long story short, we slipped up. That power outage didn't help either. Defense lawyers don't have rights? Oh, okay. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Apparently, she had already arranged the crime scene. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. Is that when Dark was arrested? Arrested? No, arrested. He was lying on the floor unconscious.
Arrest this man!
God damn it. When Emma sent Neil flying, it seems I keep wanting to say Drake. Dark bumped his head.
Take him away.
I see, everything seems pretty clear-cut. If the police chief has the right to refuse to testify, then I'd better hit him hard and fast.
I'm sorry, mister, but we have to take you to jail.
Oh no, hi. You didn't hear that, did you?
No.
Okay, good.
Hi. Hello, Beans. Are you going to sleep? Oh, that is a sleepy min. A sleepy min. Oh, so small.
You're very tired. Bless you. Are you drooling on my hand? Ah, Atreus. No, don't look at me like that.
That's gross. Good boys. Good night, Min. Good night, Tree.
No, he's trying to escape. Alright, so I have very vague memories of one game having a case where I was, like, punished for pressing. I I don't remember if it's this one, and I'm fucking hoping it isn't. Press time.
Hi, Sif! You were able to pack? Congratulations.
As I recall, a ceremony was held at the police department that day. Yes, that's right. I guess you could say I'm a workaholic. After winning his award, Neil was all fired up too. That's probably what spooked Doc and made him run away like that. Was the defendant Lana Skye also present in the room?
A Lime's derp, but Lime's blep is very close. How's my night been going? Pretty good. Pretty good.
I'm tired. I want to get this case finished. Because there's a game coming out soon that I want to play. I don't quite remember. At the very least, she wasn't there when Dark ran for it.
Tired? I thought you were Limealicious. Isn't it basically synonymous at this point?
To make a long story short, we slipped up. That power outage didn't help. I already did that one.
What video game? Cats and little friends, cats and dogs. Hooray! A baby game? Your baby game.
So the two of you ran immediately after him, right? That's right, but Drake, no, Dark made it to the elevator first. So Neil and I split up. He went upstairs and I went downstairs, I guess you could say. He got lucky. What's this about a power outage? Oh, that. The elevator stopped all of a sudden and I got the shock of my life. Well, probably not as shocked as Neil was when that knife went into his heart, though. What the fuck? That's not funny. By the way, I'm a villain. Could you tell us what you saw? It was a shocking sight. Neil and that serial killer were lying in a heap on the floor, all tangled together. Dark was also lying collapsed on the floor? Yes, apparently he hit his head and was knocked out. Next to them were those two poor girls. Lana and Emma. Lana was cradling Emma in her arms. Looking back at it now, she must have already known what her sister had done. Oh, shit, I mean to press that button, but okay, there we go. How can you know that? Because of the victim's body. It had already been moved. So that means... You found the body near Lana's desk? That's right. I think you said earlier it was my suit of armor that really stabbed the prosecutor. Yes. Anyway.
Hi, Water.
So you're saying that the forgery had already taken place by the time you arrived at your office? That's exactly what I'm saying. I can understand how Lana must have felt, but moving a body and hiding evidence are inexcusable no matter what the circumstances.
Is that really how it went down?
Staring at the witness won't do you any good, Mr. Wright. If you're going to stare at anything, you'd be better off staring at the court record. Worthy, always the smooth talker.
But which piece of evidence ties Gant to the forgery?
Lana did admit to forging evidence, but that can't be the whole truth. Somehow I've got to link Gant to the incident. Badge. The badge links everything together. Okay. I think it's the cloth.
Kovubot, are you okay?
I'm pretty sure it's the cloth because it was in his safe.
Have I been been live for 4 hours and 1 minute already? Well, I guess that's it. Goodbye, everyone.
If you really had nothing to do with the forgery, then how do you explain this?
But what's that, and what's that on it? A handprint?
Chief Gant, your explanation, please.
I don't know, you tell me, son.
Huh?
My dear Righto, don't you know the second rule of evidence law?
Uh-oh, not this again. Evidence law.
Rule 2, unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. Tell me, how is that rag relevant to this trial? It appears the defense was not prepared.
I guess it's too early to use this piece of evidence.
Please accept my profound apologies, Chief. Would you mind giving the defense another chance? Well, okay, I'll do it just this once, but only because you asked, Archie. Thank you, I assure you the defense is terribly sorry.
Yeah, sorry I didn't nail you. Damn, dude. Is Kovu okay? He's not okay. I mean, I guess the jar could also work. I might have the same problem with the jar, though. Let's try that again. Don't mind me. You didn't see anything. You claim you had nothing to do with the forgery. But I'm afraid this is a claim that you can't back up.
Explain yourself.
Several pieces of evidence were found in your office. Take this jar, for example.
That's the blue badger you showed us earlier.
A piece of this jar was discovered in your safe. Not only that, but the evidence list I presented earlier was actually found inside your desk.
It was found where?
You can kill that bit off, Q. I think it's just that he didn't reset like Moobot didn't reset properly or something after I last streamed. I don't know. I think if you just like put the command back to normal, maybe next time I go live it'll reset. Or maybe I'll just be perpetually streaming forever. You see, Chief Gant, these articles of evidence uncovered in your office are both concrete proof that you also played a part in the illegal investigation. The court is super legit, don't worry about it.
Chief Gant, what's the meaning of this? Here's a defense attorney who may even rival Worthy.
So you admit to it then, that you were involved in the forgery?
Who, me, or do you mean you?
Me? Why would I have anything to do with that?
Well, you were the one who snuck into my office when you found this evidence.
Called the fuck out on our illegal searching that we keep doing every time.
Prosecutors aren't the only ones capable of forging evidence, you know. Defense attorneys can do so too. Isn't that right, Righto? However, Detective Gumshoe was present during the investigation.
Worthy, my boy. Not even detectives are exempt from the law.
Rest assured Dick will receive his due punishment.
What? If Detective Gumshoe's salary drops any further, he'll end up paying to work.
As well, in light of the detective's presence, please give us your testimony regarding these pieces of evidence found in your office, and their relation to the forgery that took place at the crime scene. My. Kids these days no longer know how to put two and two together. Let's see, what was it now? A jar fragment and a list. For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, then they're worthless. There's no reason I'd participate in a forgery. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor?
When investigating the crime scene, you should have been more careful to observe protocol. You do understand that I am chief of police, right? There will be consequences. Oh dear. Indeed, I believe I will press charges so you won't make the same mistake again. My apologies, Chief, but would you mind waiting until tomorrow for that? Today is, well, you know. All right, RG, in return, though. I know, that place, right?
Huh? What are these guys, telepathic?
I'd appreciate it if you'd stop making these ridiculous allegations.
Yes, you do have a point. You wouldn't have the guts to do something like that.
What? I'll have you know, back in the day, I once broke into a cattle ranch and tipped...
Mr. Wright, what are you saying? Anyway, you can't prove you didn't carry in the evidence, can you? If you have proof to the contrary, you're going to need it later. Later? What are you talking about? What else? I'm talking about when Raito's prints are found. Yes, if they're found inside my safe, that would prove his investigation was illegal.
I've never faced anyone as slimy as this guy.
Can I prove the when?
What do you mean by that?
This is all purely hypothetical, of course. But suppose I did place those items in my safe. Such an act wouldn't necessarily constitute forgery.
If concealing evidence found at a crime scene isn't forgery.
I'm not through speaking yet, Righto. It all depends on when the evidence was discovered.
Are you saying this jar fragment wasn't discovered in the initial investigation?
It would appear not. After all, it wasn't listed in the evidence list. For all we know, it could have suddenly materialized the day after Dark was sentenced.
Oh, and wouldn't that be convenient?
Right. The chief is talking about a possibility, so long as you can't rule that out. Your remarks, however clear they may be, will only succeed in wasting time.
Tell me something I don't know.
Come now, Righto, think about it.
Hey, Bucket Spider! How can you look me in the eye and say that?
Because I'm innocent. Remember? Who was it that murdered Neil?
Hey, Dove, thank you so much for the 26 bits. Thank you.
I'm not sure I care for the word murder here. But in the end, the person responsible for Mr. Marshall's unfortunate demise was Emma Skye. Well, now do you see?
Gant isn't the one who murdered Prosecutor Marshall 2 years ago, yet I know he played a part in the forgery. That can only mean someone asked him to be an accomplice.
Damon Gant, someone's accomplice? That sounds unlikely.
Hey, Lurker! Really, Chief Gant? At the very least, there's one large benefit you've reaped from all this.
Oh, I wasn't aware. What is this benefit?
That would, of course, be the position you have, Chief of Police.
Oh!
The resolution of the SL9 incident secured your promotion to Chief. That in itself is sufficient motive.
Oh, that is a good one.
Huh?
Do you really think I'm that incompetent?
What do you mean?
Even without that case, I was already next in line to become the chief. The resolution of SR9 merely sped up the inevitable a little.
Is that true, Edgeworth?
Yes, he was going to be made chief anyway. Ugh! Be careful when pointing that finger, or you might end up being the one pointed at. So that means there's only one possible motivation for you to commit forgery. If you didn't do it for yourself, then you did it for someone else. Don't be silly, Worthy. You know me better than that. There are only 3 people I look out for. Me, myself, and I. There, it's out in the open now. Archie, would you mind if I change my testimony a little? By all means, please do.
I wouldn't be anyone else's accomplice if there was nothing in it for me. Nothing in it for you?
Sorry, but the only person I care about is yours truly. That girl, Lana's little sister, was it? If you think I felt sorry for her, you better think again. You're right. You don't feel sorry for anyone. Be tough on crime and tough on people. That's how I was raised. You seem to be lax enough on yourself, though. Oh, that's a good one, Worthy.
Could there have been something in it for him? Given his selfishness, would he have helped someone out? I think I get it. True, you might not help out anyone for their sake, but if it would benefit you, you might decide to assist someone.
Mr. Wright, it appears you're positively determined to portray the chief as a nice man who likes to lend people a hand.
That's not what I mean.
Very well then. Who is this person you believe Chief Gant may have helped forge evidence? Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye, the defendant?
I believe it's quite obvious in light of the circumstances. Emma Skye fell victim, to an unfortunate series of events. Who would want to help her more than her own sister, Lana? And as for Chief Gant, he would also have a reason to help Lana if she asked him to. That reason, of course, is self-profit.
Self-profit? What do you mean?
After the SL9 incident was resolved, Lana Skye was appointed chief prosecutor at the prosecutor's office. The person who arranged this job change was you, Chief Gant.
But how would he profit from all of this? He would be able to use the chief prosecutor as his puppet.
I'm glad. I hope you enjoy it, Water.
Essentially, he would acquire unchecked authority over all investigations. Do you mean to tell me that despite the chief's formidable appearance, he plays with puppets? Oh, wait. You must mean puppet as in someone forced to do his bidding. Never mind.
Admit it, Chief! You assisted Lana Skye in forging evidence. Your motive to appoint her as chief prosecutor so that you could control her.
Right, oh my boy, you have quite an imagination. Let me ask you something.
What?
Do you have any proof of this? That I controlled Lana? For example, is Lana testifying that I've done such a thing?
Lana, she's keeping quiet to protect Emma. There's no way she'd testify against Gant. I feel like at this point, considering she knows we're going after Gant, she should maybe kind of decide to play for our team a little bit, and because if she puts Gant away, then yo, she doesn't have to worry about Emma anymore. Hooray! And you know, Emma's guilt is already, well, not guilt, but you know, we all know what happened with Emma now, so what are you still hiding?
I'm afraid that without any proof, all this all amounts to nothing more than mere conjecture.
What's the stand your ground law?
Unless... That is also what happened in this incident. This incident? Which one would that be? Of course I'm talking about... the murder of Detective Bruce Goodman. The chief prosecutor has been acting rather strange throughout this entire trial.
Excuse cases of murder on account of incidents of self-defense. Oh, I see.
Almost as if someone else has been controlling her. Worthy, you'd better watch your tongue. I wouldn't want you to get hurt.
He's legit threatening people.
Just what do you mean?
What he means, Your Honor, is that Chief Gant is involved in the murder of Detective Goodman. And everyone just skips over the legit fucking threat towards Edgeworth. That's fine. Not only that, but the Chief is now making Lana take the rap to cover up his involvement.
What? Order! I said order! Mr. Wright, you can't be serious.
Huh? Order. Yeah. I will do very bad things to you, Raito. That's a different kind of threat.
This is an affront to the highest ranking officer in our law enforcement agency.
I can't do the judge voice anymore. My throat's too sore.
To accuse the chief of police of blackmail and murder?
You feel threatened by David Gant? Is it his wonderful size and stature? His magnificence? Does it make you feel nervous? Do you not want to glory upon it? Revel in it?
That's... impossible!
I don't have any tea. Your Honor, I was merely reiterating what Mr. Edgeworth said in easier to understand language.
It's too late, Mr. Wright. There's no turning back for us now.
It looks like he's the one who's decided to go through with this. Hold on a second, I'm just tying my hair up. There we are. Us, we're friends, you know? Good lawyer buddies hanging out together. One second, I gotta wash my hands. I've started having, like, small reactions to the ferrets again. That's all that summer shedding. One moment.
It is certainly not stealth dab time.
That the chief, a high-ranking officer of the law, is involved in this murder?
Good question. Regardless of his rank or title, Chief Gant is just a man. The question is he a criminal? I believe the evidence will tell.
I see. All right, then. Let's see what Mr. Wright's got, and it better be good. Show us this evidence that that ties Chief Gant to the murder of Detective Goodman.
Oh my god, don't put me on the spot or anything. Holy shit. Chief Gant to the murder of Detective Goodman. Badge, fuck you. Oh yeah, I know what it is.
This is the ID card list.
Yes, the one that shows who entered the evidence room on the day of the crime.
I mean, it is a badge.
But it's his badge. There was one ID on the list we couldn't determine the owner of yesterday. 7777777.
Sorry, but there's no way you can prove that's my card number.
It's your number. Exclamation mark.
What? How do you know that?
The safe in Chief Gant's office required a code to open. A 7-digit code.
7 digits, you don't mean?
I'm afraid so, Your Honor. The code was 7777777. The same as the remaining ID card number on that list. Chief Gant, you entered the evidence room on the day of the crime!
Order! Order! Chief Gant, what do you have to say?
Nothing. The defense's search of my office was in violation of regulations. And I will demand Mr. Wright be punished to the maximum extent of the law. But right now, this court demands an explanation from you about the use of this ID card. That's really shitty evidence. Like, you could just say that he, really likes the number 7. That doesn't mean it's his card number, but whatever. I like how this is the thing that breaks him. For a bit.
Chief Gant, so you admit it? You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime?
What about it? I'm chief of police, whether it's the evidence room or the bathroom. What's the difference? I can go anywhere I want. Tell me, when you entered the room, were you alone? I always go to the bathroom alone. As I do with the evidence room. Detective Goodman wouldn't have happened to be with you that day, would he?
Oh, of course not. Why would he be?
I hadn't seen him in days. You hadn't seen him in days? Chief Gant, I'm afraid you've just undone yourself. On that day, you had to have met with Detective Goodman.
What do you mean? This trial's purpose is to determine Lana Skye's guilt.
No, it isn't, Your Honor. This trial's purpose is to determine the truth. If Chief Gant met the victim on the day of the crime, then we need to determine one more thing. What transpired during that meeting?
In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm going to have to ask you for evidence. Show us proof that the victim went to meet Chief Gant on the day of the crime.
Detective Goodman lost his ID card on the day of the crime. Or to be more accurate, Jake Marshall stole it. So Detective Goodman filed out a lost item report. He would have had to give that report to the chief of police. Yet you are in possession of the report, which means you can't be sure he filed it. He filed it. How do I know, you ask? Because he needed to enter the evidence room that day.
He needed to?
Yes, to transfer the evidence out.
Oh.
Detective Goodman took the form to you, Chief Gant. Then, you accompanied the detective to the evidence room.
I accompanied him?
There's no other way the murderer and Detective Goodman could have entered the room.
Hold on, let me guess what you're going to say next. I, the chief of police, murdered poor Goodman.
Exactly.
But wait! The chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him to the evidence room. He could just have lent him his ID card.
Yes, we're solving crimes today. Hopefully we're getting close to the end of this one. It feels like we're ramping up to it, but then again, Gant is a slippery mother hacker.
Yes. Now that you mention it, I believe I might have something thanks game. Sorry, but that's not possible. According to the record, your card was used only once. Yet you showed us your ID card earlier. If you had really lent it to Detective Goodman, it would have been found on his body.
Jesus! Did I say Gant was like Zeus? Apparently, in more ways than I thought.
Chief Gant, you didn't!
The murder was most likely a spur-of-the-moment crime, for no one in their right mind would choose the police department as a place to commit murder. After the murder, you contacted Lana at the prosecutor's office. Why? To dispose of Detective Goodman's body, of course.
You're forgetting, Mr. Wright, that the victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor's office parking lot. How did he manage to move it there? I was at the police department that entire day, you know. And everyone's aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony.
Everyone except me, it seems. Still, you're the chief of police. You have an entire police force at your disposal.
Oh, so you think I just ordered an officer to do it? Hey, you take this here dead body over to the prosecutor's office? I don't think so.
Chief Gant, you left all the evidence we need to prove how you moved that body to the prosecutor's office. And all this time, I thought it was a useless clue just taking up space. Hey, Grizzly Boy.
How could the chief have moved the body? Mr. Wright, show us this evidence.
The badge! I swear to God, the next person that says badge is banned. This is how he moved Detective Goodman's body. Well. Come here, Gray. Come here. Bang. Someone actually managed to skirt around it. The first thing that was actually said was blue badger, which made me laugh, but no, great.
This is how you move Detective Goodman's body. What's that? A screwdriver? But what does that have to do with this case?
Mr. Edgeworth, think back to the day of the crime. What is this screwdriver doing here?
It's here because...
Oh man, how much would that suck to know that the guy planted the body in your trunk?
I was asked to go by Chief Gant, no less. He told me he wanted to keep it here in the prosecutor's office. In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here. After the ceremony ended that day, I didn't plan to return to the prosecutor's office.
But you did, because Chief Gant asked you to. Asked you to. Christ.
You mean I...
The body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. I think it's obvious what happened. The body was moved by that car. The car had hands! Ah!
Detective Goodman's body was carried in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car.
Yes, unless of course you have another explanation, Chief. Why else would you have asked Mr. Edgeworth to transport evidence from a closed case? There's only one plausible explanation. To transport the body to your accomplice, Miss Lana Skye.
Hi, Shiv. How are you?
What's going on here? Is there no room for rebuttal into the defense's outrageous accusations?
Think back to the photograph Miss Starr took at the prosecutor's office. This was not a photo of the body being stuffed in the trunk to be taken away. This was exactly the opposite. It is a photo of the body being taken from the trunk.
Chief Gant, please say something. I believe your time's up. My time's up? Sorry, Ryder, but I'm having lunch with the District Attorney General after this. We have to get going if we're going to make it in time for the early bird special.
But the cross-examination isn't finished yet.
Remember what I told you earlier? A police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal.
Weapons?
Like the right to refuse to testify. I'm invoking that right now. What? That is not a right to be casually invoked.
Just be like, peace and stride from the courtroom. Great.
So you're going to just run away after all this? Run away? Don't make me laugh, Worthy. I stabbed old Goodman, that's what you're saying, right? But if you had any conclusive evidence, you would have presented it by now.
Well,
You think I had Lana dispose of the body? If so, then show your proof and get it over with. I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. Damon Gant is the current chief of police.
Badge. Stop it, no! I'm gonna get eventually 25 years from now, I'm gonna get a 25-year sub badge, and it's just gonna be Phoenix Wright's defense attorney badge. It's gonna be great.
Great. This court will not tolerate any accusations against him without concrete proof. Well, Mr. Wright?
Your Honor?
Do you have any concrete proof?
I really fucking don't. I don't think we can bluff this one.
Proof that Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman and made Miss Skye dispose of his body?
Do I have any concrete proof? I don't think we do. We don't have anything concrete. We just have accusations. It's no use showing evidence I'm not even sure of myself. No, Your Honor. At present, I have no conclusive evidence.
CRJ. In that case, this court is forced to penalize you for your allegations against the chief.
What? That's some bullshit! Why?
Here's a tip. Never gamble what you can't afford to lose, righto. It seems that Lady Luck was on my side again today. Okay, Udgy, I'll leave the rest to you.
Bye.
I warned you earlier, Mr. Wright.
He fucking ghosted, yes.
This is an affront to our senior officer and our nation's law enforcement agency. Lady Luck, Maybe we should have a word with her. Mr. Edgeworth, what do you mean?
Edgeworth is such a fucking good friend.
There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. We haven't yet had the honor of hearing her testimony.
A lady who knows the truth?
Another witness! In the absence of conclusive evidence, only one method of proof... the only other method of proof... In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only other method of proof is testimony! Jesus! Oh, is this case over yet? Ugh.
Give him the proof!
But Chief Gant has invoked his right to refuse to testify. There's still someone else. Only one more witness who can answer all of the questions raised in this trial. Someone right in this very room. Mr. Edgeworth, who is this person? Why are you asking me, Your Honor? Have you forgotten? The defense is the one calling witnesses today.
Limes, are you okay? No. No.
Mr. Wright, does such a witness exist?
She may not be willing to tell the truth, but we can't just stop now. Yes, Your Honor. The defense calls forth... Lana Skye. Wait, did that just say that she was chief prosecutor at age 29?
The defendant, Miss Lana Skye?
She was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 p.m. on February 21st. Her task to dispose of the victim's body. In accordance with a certain someone's orders.
Mr. Edgeworth?
The prosecution has no objections, Your Honor. Another year to get that title. Easy peasy, dude.
Very well, the court will now take its final recess for the day. In 15 minutes, we will reconvene to hear the defendant's testimony. This court is now in
Oh, Christ.
He's back! Chief Gant, I thought you were going to eat.
Uh-oh.
Listen good, Lana.
He's talking to Lana.
I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claims, there will be terrible consequences.
Yet, he's allowed to get... He has threatened the prosecutor, the defense attorney, and the defendant, and nobody cares. Totally not the villain, by the way.
That's right. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder.
I don't think that's how murder works. She was 14. She couldn't see. She was being attacked by a serial killer and it was an accident. Ah!
Of course, you'd never support such outrageous claims anyway, right? Just something to think about. All right then. I've got a lunch date to meet.
I kind of think Stand Your Ground has a purpose then, because it would be absolutely terrible if, you know, some dude attacked you with a stabby stab knife and you pushed them away because you were frightened, and they stumbled backwards and like fell over and hit their head and died, your life would be over, and that's dumb.
Okay, if there aren't any further objections.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's very heavily abused as well. Which is sad, unfortunately. Because, I don't know, I feel like the laws have a use, but yeah, I could imagine they get abused to heck.
Looks like we managed to stay in the game.
Yeah, thanks to your help, Edgeworth.
That chief, he's something else, eh, pals?
Detective Gumshoe.
I'm not a detective anymore.
Oh yeah, sorry about that.
Don't worry, I've already decided where to work now. At your office.
My office?
Sure, I'll take the place of that top-knotted girl you used to work with.
Could he mean Maya?
Still, looks like we're all out of moves now. Chief Gant's done it again. How is it he always gets the upper hand?
It's not fair he has the right to refuse to testify.
Settle down, Wright. Remember what the judge said?
There are certain risks to be considered.
Oh my.
Risks? What did he mean by that?
It's simple. If the chief refuses to testify, the opposite also holds true.
You mean he forfeits his right to say anything too?
Oh, it's Maya! Never mind, I thought it was Lana. Not Maya, Emma, the other one. It's not Maya.
Jesus.
Emma, are you okay?
Too many waifus?
That one. Brown-haired Maya.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Emma and Maya are basically the same age, right?
Yeah, when I came to, I was in the medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery.
So she heard everything that's been going on.
Emma, I'm sorry for what I said before.
No, don't be. It was the truth. You know, it's funny. I almost feel somehow relieved.
Relieved?
Yeah, now I finally know what really happened. To think that all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by that horrible man. And she did it all just to protect me.
Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she'd changed. Perhaps it was easier that way for her. What do you mean? What do you think I mean, to follow Chief Gant's orders? She must have shut herself deep inside, to force herself to do anything and everything the chief told her to do.
That must be why she became so cold. Whereas Maya, she went back to become a spirit medium because she couldn't call Mia during the trial for Edgeworth, and she ended up feeling useless, which really, really upset her.
She cried and ran onto the train, and there was sad music playing, and it was very bittersweet. It was all my fault. It's all because I murdered Mr. Marshall.
Hey, don't go blaming yourself now. If you want to blame anyone, blame society, pal.
Chief Gant may be able to fool everyone else with his forgery, but he can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor.
I see.
Well, we'd better get back. It's time for the final act.
Emma, why don't you wait here?
No, I'm going with you. I want to be there. When Lana tells the truth.
Let's go, Wright. It's time to end this.
Let's go! Trial Latter 2.
Now then, will the defendant, Miss Lana Skye, please take the stand? Miss Lana Skye, you are the chief prosecutor.
I don't actually remember if it's always the same courtroom for the game.
I'm sure you're aware of what is required of you.
But Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. You know all that I've done these past 2 years.
Which trap was that, Water? If it's something that's like towards the end, be careful, because I don't know if we've been there yet.
Please provide the court with your testimony, Miss Skye. And remember, you are under oath. We want to hear the truth.
Of course, the truth.
Lana, no matter what happens, I'll always be your sister.
Now then, your testimony, if you will. First, tell us about your relationship with Chief Gant.
Everything hinges on your testimony. You're the only chance we have to get to Gant. I'm out of throat sweets, oh no.
I worked alongside Gant for years. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself.
Hey, Jonah Alex, how are you?
When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. My only motivation was to get Drake Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma.
Are you sure about this testimony?
Your Honor, I'm confessing to a capital offense. Of course I'm sure.
But Lana...
If that is true, then that means Chief Gant has nothing to do with this.
That's what I've been telling you from the beginning. Please, Mr. Wright, you've got to help her. She's sacrificing herself because of me.
But what if she is telling the truth?
She's not. I know my own sister. Whenever she speaks stiffly like that, she's hiding something inside. Deep down, she's really screaming in agony.
Yeah, this is no time to start second-guessing myself. Hold on. Ah, my poor throat.
The defense may now begin its cross-examination.
How many years exactly?
Ever since I made senior detective. Let's see, I was 24 then, so that would be 5 years.
Detective Gant and Detective Skye were legendary partners. I personally saw them testify in numerous cases.
She must have been good coming from the same school as Mia.
Damon Gant was a respectable detective, that's why.
But think about it, Miss Skye. You didn't murder Detective Goodman. You told me as much yesterday in jail. Ah! My butt! No! I dropped my controller! What did she say?
Any testimony you cannot present in court is as useless as idle gossip.
I think she said you don't get it, Mr. Wright, something like that.
I stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife. And...
Yeah, give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna see if there are any throat sweets. 1 sec. I found this cherry menthol sweet, and I don't know if it's for coughing or for a sore throat, but I ate it anyway, and it tastes really weird. Ah, it's stuck on my tooth! Ah! Okay. Oh, I don't like the taste, it's weird. It was a nicotine sweet. Okay. Menthol is for a sore throat. Yay! Did you do so to help your sister?
Joe Dark was a serial killer. My sister almost became his last victim that day. I didn't want that incident to ruin her life.
But what she did was justifiable self-defense. That doesn't exist in this game, come on! She wouldn't have been charged with anything.
That's not the point. She was traumatized that day, all because of that creep. That's why I couldn't forgive him. Lana?
So that's why you fabricated the evidence 2 years ago?
You say you did this all by yourself?
Yes.
Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene?
It seems I was the first person to discover the scene. The broken prosecutor award knife was stuck in the victim's body.
What? But Prosecutor Marshall died from an unfortunate accident.
That's only a situation you dreamed was possible. The reality is, it wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life. Fantasize all you want, Mr. Wright, but I'll never change this statement.
You mean Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Drake?
Dark! God damn it!
If that is so, what happened to the other murder weapon? Dark was carrying a switchblade knife.
Oh, that was lying on the floor a little distance away. It was probably knocked away in the struggle.
Ugh. This sweet is really gross, but I think it's helping.
That's not how it went down. She's trying to cover up her lies with more lies. Well, just to protect me.
A stab in the dark. Aha.
So when you found the scene like this, what did you do? After all, this is what everything boils down to.
Yes.
They really help, but goodness, it's like really annoying to try and take.
You planted the tip of Dark's knife in the victim's wound, and then you moved the body? But why? Why would you do that? You of all people should know, Edgeworth. You've always had a good head on your shoulders.
Pocket Spider, thank you for the sub! Thank you for the support. Welcome to the Lime Cult. Enjoy your new lime friend. Thank you very, very much for supporting the channel.
Thank you, thank you! Exclamation mark. My head isn't that bad, but maybe I ought to ask for the sake of others. Why did you move... No, she would have moved the body. Wait, she said it was the... If she said it was Joe Dark that killed him... When you showed up on the scene, where exactly was the victim's body?
It was where you deduced it was, by Chief Gant's desk. But the body was found by your desk. Why did you move it there? The reason for that is simple. The reason Miss Skye moved the body.
My throat keeps giving out when he says body. It's terrible. Oh god, okay. The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan. Pieces of the jar? You mean?
Yes, that wretched jar you showed us earlier. In order to show that Dark committed the crime, I felt it would be more expedient to move the body. So, when you first found the body, the jar was already...
I'm starting to do it with everybody. Please help. I actually don't know what happened to UL. Is he okay?
Of course, it had been shattered to pieces. If you looked at the crime scene, it would be clear right away what happened. Neil Marshall was dead and Dark was lying unconscious. In other words, the jar must have been broken during the struggle. I see.
What's the matter, Emma?
Apparently the jar shattered at the time the crime was committed. But I have a feeling there's more to it than that.
Anyway, I committed this fabrication completely alone.
Yacked? Miss Skye, I understand how you feel. You committed that crime 2 years ago to protect your sister.
You mean the forgery at the scene where Neil Marshall was murdered?
If that truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life will have been in vain. Even so, I am compelled to bring to everyone's attention a significant contradiction within your testimony.
A contradiction in my testimony?
You testified, and I quote, "The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan."
That's right. Do you have a problem with that?
It's a simple oversight, really. You see, a message written on this jar with the victim's blood. Sorry, a message was written on this jar.
Yes, the prosecutor must have written it at his final moments.
Exactly so. And this is where the contradiction lies. In order for the victim to be able to write his message on the jar, it must not yet have been broken before he died. He couldn't have written Emma's name on a shattered jar. Ba, ba, ba. Got him.
Your Honor, it would appear more information is needed in regard to this jar and its bloody message.
I know what he meant, but it sounds like he's getting really annoyed about the jar.
We may be missing something critical here.
Something critical?
Chief Prosecutor, it seems you're as in the dark as we are about the truth towards which we're headed.
What?
Just tell us exactly what it is you saw. We'll piece together the information to arrive at the truth.
The jar looks like an ovary. The jar, I don't understand how the jar ever stood up, if I'm honest.
Very well, the witness may now continue her testimony.
I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar, but it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. The fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered.
You mean you were the one who wiped away the message in blood?
I wasn't chief prosecutor at the time. She didn't think Dark was the real murderer. That's why she tried to erase the real evidence.
Very well, the defense may now begin its cross-examination.
I mean, yeah, I don't think it's meant to hold anything, but I also don't think it could possibly stand up. So the jar was already broken?
It's a miracle that thing hadn't broken earlier.
It certainly looks as feeble as the defense's case.
What? But not as feeble as the judge's judgment.
You were an ace detective who never missed a detail. Do you really expect us to believe you didn't investigate what was written on the jar pieces? Normally I would have. But it was dark in the room and blah 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 blah.
So you didn't know your sister's name was written on the jar?
No. If I had known, I would have gathered all the pieces and ground them into dust.
Well, that helps my case.
Lana, you'd do that for me?
It seems you two might make up yet.
Anyway, I had just barely had enough time to move the body as it was.
If someone happened upon the scene, you'd lose your chance to erase the evidence. You must have been in a hurry.
I was. I knew I had to destroy the evidence before anyone came.
I'm glad you enjoyed April May's voice, DTA. I think she was probably my favorite. Like her, Maya, and Emma, I just enjoy voicing because they're nice and easy.
This is rather shocking.
I'm afraid this action of yours reveals what really happened.
What do you mean?
If you really thought Dark killed Prosecutor Marshall, you wouldn't have wiped away the blood.
What else could I have done in the situation?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's a weird accent, but it's kind of within, like, a range that's comfortable for me. And I don't have to husk my throat up or anything, so that's fine. Like, when I'm doing a voice for a little kid, I have to kind of, like, make my throat very raspy, which hurts after a while. If I'm doing, like, something like Old Bag, the same thing is an issue. If I'm having to voice guys, then one, it's unconvincing, and two, I have to pitch my voice kind of low, and it's unpleasant. Whereas April's kind of just the same pitch, maybe slightly higher, and a terrible accent.
What else could I have done in that situation? Lana, I only had a few moments. There wasn't enough time for me to do anything else but gather up the pieces.
You never expected OO Cat Valley Cat Girl. It was fun. I really enjoyed it.
But how could you see with the power out? It should have been pitch black in there.
I read that as bitch, as pitch black. It should have been pitch black in that office.
A detective is always prepared, Mr. Wright. Even now, I always carry a pocket light and a camera with me.
Even I carry a bottle of emergency luminol wherever I go.
I never miss anything. I got every last piece. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered.
So you illegally rearranged the crime scene? Hey, Dragon.
Yes, I don't have any excuse for my actions.
I'm so sorry, Lana. I didn't know. I've treated you so badly all this time.
It's not too late. There's still plenty of time to make up.
After we've gotten to the bottom of this incident.
No doubt this day will leave a permanent stain on the history of the prosecutor's office.
More contradictions have surfaced in her testimony.
Your sister's really putting up a fight. She must really care about you. Still, she's not doing this the right way. I think I finally figured out the contradictions in her testimony.
There's one final possibility that might turn everything around.
Okay, so she said she had all the fragments. The fragment, the largest fragment, sorry, the final fragment was in his safe.
Miss Skye, I believe this jar conceals a truth even you were unaware of.
What?
We found the final piece of this jar in Chief Gant's safe.
I mean, we actually addressed that earlier in the court case, so I'm not sure how she didn't realize, but okay.
In the chief's safe? But how? I knew it. She really didn't know.
There's something even more disturbing about that final piece. There was still blood on it.
But the witness just testified that she gathered every last piece and wiped the blood off of them.
Yes, which leaves us with only one explanation. On the night Prosecutor Marshall was murdered,
you were not the first one to show up on the scene. Chief Gant got there before you.
But couldn't the defendant have simply missed a piece?
I'm afraid that's unlikely. The pieces are too big for anyone to miss, let alone an ace detective.
Well, that may well be, but everyone makes mistakes. Even I once wasted an entire day looking for my dentures. They were in my mouth all along. Ha! Can you believe that?
Have you forgotten, Your Honor? When this witness arrived at the scene, the jar was already broken.
That.
There's no way a name could have been written on a shattered jar. Another person discovered the scene prior to the witness.
I hope you're not implying this person was Chief Gant. At the time, he was looking for Doc downstairs something.
Thank you, game.
The question is, if he did arrive there first, why did he hide that fact for 2 years? Well, Your Honor, can you answer us that?
What? Why is the judge having a breakdown reaction?
Uptime is about an hour and a half.
The uptime command broke. Kovu was convinced we'd been live for 4 hours about 10 minutes into the stream. I'm not sure how.
Wait, I'm not the one on trial here.
Damon Gant arrived at the crime scene prior to the witness. He proceeded to break the jar and purposefully hid one of the broken pieces. Question: what is this action called?
Fabrication of evidence.
But why would Chief Gant do that?
In light of what happened afterwards, isn't it clear?
What happened afterwards?
Discovering the scene, Lana Skye believed her sister Emma killed the victim. Determined to help her sister, she sought Gant's aid. Lending her his aid, Gant helped her create evidence that incriminated Dark, sparing Emma. And therein lies the reason. The reason why Miss Skye became the chief's puppet.
Dude, she just...
Holy heck, she bit that so hard blood spurted out.
No, I did it on my own. Please, sis, stop trying to protect the chief. I can't watch you suffer anymore for my sake. No, you didn't. It wasn't you, Emma. You didn't kill anyone. Don't believe anything Mr. Wright says. Defense attorneys make up the most foul lies to defend their clients.
Excuse me? Foul lies? Imagine that coming from my own client.
I guess you do seem like the type who likes to twist the truth.
Wait a minute. What if we're still smack dab in the middle of Gant's trap?
Is something wrong, Mr. Wright?
Lana may be right after all.
What do you mean, right?
So you do tell fellow lies then, Mr. Wright?
Miss Skye, please testify once more.
But
If evidence was fabricated behind your back, then Emma's accidental killing of Prosecutor Marshall might also be a lie.
but I do remember knocking over Mr. Marshall.
Miss Skye, if you will. I can't. There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. This cross-examination may not change a thing. However, there is a possibility that it will, if you tell the truth. Very well. I'll testify about what I really saw.
Ooh, wait a minute. It's you again?
PM Virus, thank you for the resub! Thank you for the 11 months of support and welcome back to the Lime Cult. Thank you very, very much for supporting the channel. Thank you, thank you! I'll tell the truth this time, I really promise.
Oh, I know, it's ridiculous. Everyone's totally fine with every witness lying. When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on that suit of armor's sword. Emma and Dark were lying unconscious on the floor nearby. When I saw what had happened, I thought she did it. That's why I raised all the evidence that linked her to the murder. I had Chief Gant help me remove the body from the sword and carry it. But if it all really was a fabrication, Emma might be innocent. Unbelievable, that body was impaled on the armored sword. You were the only one who saw that. If only you had proof. Actually, I do have proof. How convenient! I gave it to Mr. Wright just this morning. What? To me? It's a picture I took of the crime scene as I encountered it. I thought it might be needed. But I don't remember receiving a picture like that.
Lana must have known. See, Mr. Wright? She really does have faith in you. Welcome, welcome, Super Knight!
Please present this picture.
I don't remember receiving any pictures from Lana.
Lana said she gave it to you this morning, right?
I seem to remember getting something from her then.
Let's check that evidence again. There must be a picture in there somewhere. Yamizaga, thank you for the resub! Thank you for the 17 months of support and welcome back to the Lime Cult. Thank you very, very much for supporting the channel. You think she gave me it on the back of the badge?
Nope. If only. Hold on. I'm gonna take this opportunity to have some more sweet. Oh, it's disgusting immensely. Blah, 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 blah. I don't remember what she gave me. She gave me... It wasn't this. She did give me the book on evidence law. Oh, now you'll let me do this. You're so full of shit, game.
An anonymous gifter! Thank you so much for giving the gift of a sub to SciPC?
SciPC. We'll go with SciPC.
Thank you so much, friendly ghost.
Hey, there's a picture here. Damn.
Oh my. This is the actual crime scene.
No other detective saw the crime scene like this.
Yeah, icky sweet.
Because I contacted Criminal Affairs only after I had rearranged everything.
Mr. Wright! The piece cut out from his vest. Could that be?
The cloth we found inside Chief Gant's safe.
What's this? Oh well.
This is a handprint, isn't it? That cloth, it had handprints on it. Whosever fingerprints those are must be the real murderer. No. What? With those fingerprints, they're yours, Emma. Why are your lips turning all purple, Mr. Wright?
Anyway, let's get on with the cross-examination. So long as you tell the truth, we should be able to flush out the real murderer.
Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs.
Very well, the defense may now begin its cross-examination.
It wasn't me!
Oh, hello again.
He back! Come now, Udgy. This is the poorest excuse for a trial I've ever seen. Chief Gant, what, now you want to make me out as the bad guy too? If so, I'd like to put in a word or two in my defense.
I'm afraid it's too late for that.
What?
You already declined to testify. That means you forfeited your right to make statements of any sort. This must be that risk we were talking about earlier. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the sound of the noose tightening around your own neck. Damn, dude.
Ah, so what? You think I'm worried? Sorry to disappoint you, but I don't need to make any statements.
What do you mean?
The evidence will do all the talking for me. Even if I can't testify, I can still present evidence. Yes, that's true. Wait, you mean you still have some conclusive evidence?
No, I don't, but someone does.
Someone? So what's your excuse, Righto? Why have you been keeping quiet about it? You do have something to show us, right? Something that proves who knocked over Neil Marshall, causing his death.
Let's not.
Conclusive evidence that leaves no room for doubt. Is this true, Mr. Wright?
If I show that piece of evidence now, Emma's sure to be made out as the murderer.
Mr. Wright, if you have any more evidence, present it now, and if you try to conceal anything, you will be the one appearing before the Board of Inquiries.
What do I do now? I'd better think this through carefully. I can't afford to make the wrong decision. Should I present that piece of evidence? The one that shows who really killed Prosecutor Marshall? Oh, hello. Love that. Would you like to see both outcomes? I don't remember which one is the right outcome at this point, actually. Nice save, thanks, Chippy.
It's you again.
Nerd, thank you for the resub! Thank you for the 11 months of support and welcome back to the Lime Cult. Thank you very, very much for supporting the channel. Thank you, thank you.
A more likely explanation is the person such a villain getting wax all over their hand. I don't remember what to do here.
Oh dear. That actually, hold on a sec. Hold the fuck up. Wait a second. No, wait, no, that's fine. This is what Lana saw when she first came into the room. And if we're implying that Gant tampered with the crime scene, that makes sense because that means he cut this out beforehand. But wait, hold the fuck up. Wait. Oh, I get it. Where's the blood? All right, I'm gonna present it. Yes, Your Honor, I do have further evidence. All right, the time's finally come to show it to them. Those prints have got to be the chief's.
No, I think this is probably gonna end it. We need to conceal it. We need to conceal, don't feel. And then go back to it later. I don't remember. I think it is a gotcha because I think we need to establish something first, but that's okay. Let's see this conclusive evidence. The evidence that shows who actually murdered Prosecutor Marshall. But yes, if chat could if people in chat who have played this before could stop spoiling it for those who have not, I would really appreciate it. I have played this game before, even though I don't remember a lot of it, but please no spoilerinos in the chat.
Thank you very much.
It's a piece of leather cloth?
Yes, it most likely was cut from the victim's vest near his chest.
What's this? There's a big handprint on it.
It's a trap.
Surely it must have been left on the cloth by whoever shoved the victim into the sword. Whose fingerprints are on this?
Are badge jokes still allowed? Badge jokes are fine.
I'm sure Wright has checked, haven't you?
They're Miss Skye's. Miss Emma Skye's.
What? They're mine? So, I really did do it.
And then Emma went to jail and Phoenix quit being a lawyer forever.
See, I told you it was conclusive.
But this was found in your safe. That means it's possible you forged it.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't remember any cloth in my safe. Do you really expect me to believe that?
But...
Give it up, Mr. Wright. It's over. You shouldn't have presented that. By presenting that evidence, you tied Emma Skye to Neil Marshall's death.
No! I like how the game, because it doesn't want you to possibly get past this point, even though we have bullshitted our way through much worse, it's just like, nah, sorry, she killed him.
Bosom, thank you for the sub! Thank you for the support. Welcome to the Lime Cult. Enjoy your new Lime friend. Thank you very, very much for supporting the channel.
Thank you, thank you.
It appears we have our killer.
Astro4, thank you very much for the 500 bits. Thank you, thank you. Everything hinged on that point. In the end, Lana something something. The game keeps skipping that. I didn't press that. Did. Okay. So let's do it again. We need to hold it for now. And then point out the fact that there's no blood on it later. Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time.
resub! Thank you for the support. Welcome to the Lime Cult. Enjoy your new lime friend. Thank you very, very much for supporting the channel. Thank you, thank you.
I think I know why you can't present it now. Because, well, actually, no. It's still unregistered. It's unregistered evidence. It could be argued that it's relevant to the trial, but not necessarily. We haven't yet established its relevance to the trial by showing this photo. So,
What? You lie!
It's relevant to the trial. This game is bullshit, yeah.
Chief Gant? You opened my safe. I know you took what was inside.
He just fucked himself. He just admitted he was inside the safe. You dumbass!
You stupid dumb dude!
The conclusive evidence.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Mr. Wright, why don't you show them? We found it together.
Oh, I see. It's because you know the truth, don't you? You know whose fingerprints are on it. That's why you won't present it.
What are you talking about, Chief Gant?
Can't you figure it out? Take a good look at this photograph. See the victim's vest? Notice anything odd about the chest area? It looks like part of it's been cut out for some reason.
You mean you had this in your safe?
What? That means you, the chief of police, have been concealing evidence. This is going to be the biggest scandal in the history of the police department. Impressive. To be honest, I didn't think you had the gall, Writer. Well, I can't just let you pin me up as the murderer. I'll tell you what really happened. What? You mean you'll admit to it?
I mean, can't we just refuse his testimony and be like, get fucked, dude? I'm gonna make my own conclusions. By the way, you're the murderer. Yeah, what happened to you're not allowed to testify? I mean, I guess maybe if it's basically up to us and we allow him to, fuck it. Whatever. Welcome to the Phoenix Wright Court, where the laws are made up and justice doesn't mean anything.
I was the first person to arrive at the crime scene that day. It then occurred to me that I could use the situation to control Lana.
So you really were manipulating her.
I knew Lana. If I made it look like the blame lay with her sister, when she saw the scene, she would ask me for my aid. So you assisted Miss Skye. I told her to arrange all the evidence. I had her plant the knife tip in the victim's body and move the body across the room.
And I ended up using that evidence to get Joe Dark convicted.
When I tampered with the crime scene, I hid 2 pieces of evidence. This was before Lana arrived at the scene, mind you.
2 pieces of evidence? You mean those items in your safe?
But why? For insurance, of course.
Insurance?
Hey, Dad, check out my dad.
If you streaming this game made me learn anything lives, it is that your meme factor increases by an exponent the more text is in a game. Nickelback memes. Sheesh.
Larry, thank you very much for the $5 donation. It's just this game, dude. I love it so much.
Jackamus! Thank you for the resub! Thank you for the 6 months of support and welcome back to the Lime Cult. Thank you very, very much for supporting the channel. Thank you, thank you!
I was sure my plan would work, but it's always best to be prepared for the worst. I wasn't about to let anyone blame me for the murder of a girl, blame me for a murder that girl committed. You mean you were calculating that far ahead while forging the evidence? What do you take me for, a fool? I didn't make police chief by dumb luck. See this jaw fragment? I hid the most legible part of Emma's name. I didn't expect Lana to go and wipe the blood off all the pieces.
For realsies, Tacky Rush?
Ah, thank you. But if you fabricated all the evidence, what's to say you didn't fabricate the message on this jar, too? Some people just don't know when to quit, do they? That's why I kept one more item for insurance. You mean that piece of cloth? Come on, Righto, cough it up already. I know you have it.
He's doing that threat thing again. Apparently he can just do whatever he wants, so whatever.
What are you waiting for, Mr. Wright?
So you admit to it then, Chief Gant? That you were hiding the cloth you cut off the victim's vest in your safe?
Yes, I admit it. I didn't want to have to do that, being chief and all. But it's a lot better than being portrayed as a murderer. Just a moment ago, you said you didn't have any evidence that you could present.
Ah, I see. So he proved it was related to the case by confessing that he hid it. Before, we couldn't prove it was related to the case, so presenting it was a bad move. And yada 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 bullshit.
Foolish move, Righto. Should have shown it then before it was too late.
It's been a long battle. But the moment of truth has finally arrived. As long as I don't mess up here, victory is mine. I don't know anymore. The game's beating me so hard. Show evidence.
Your Honor, I do have evidence to present now. Alright then, let's see this conclusive evidence.
Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest.
Oh yes, at last you finally brought it out into the open. There's a handprint on this piece of cloth. Your Honor, the prosecution requests that immediately be sent to the lab for analysis. This handprint on the leather, there must have been a strong impact for it to be left so clearly. You mean? It could not have been forged. It must be authentic, conclusive evidence. You're as slow on the uptake as ever, Worthy. What? Think about it. Righto had all this time to present this evidence. Yet he was reluctant to do so. Why would that be? You mean you already know? You know whose fingerprints are on that?
Mr. Wright? Do you really know?
Whoever the fingerprints belong to must be the real murderer. Whose fingerprints are they?
Very well, I'll tell you. It should be okay now. Everything's proceeding as predicted. I like how the game's like, yeah, Phoenix knows what he's doing. Meanwhile, I remember when I was playing this game as a kid, I was like, I have no idea what's fucking going on.
Emma, Skye?
What? They're mine? I'm sorry, Emma. But why? Why didn't you tell me?
You're really something, Righto. You knew this girl did it all along, and yet you still tried to pin the murder on me. So it's true, tragic but true. This girl really did shove Prosecutor Marshall to his death.
How could you? You monster!
Miss Skye,
You knew whose fingerprints those were all along, yet you acted like she really didn't.
Miss Skye, it's not over yet.
What?
I said this trial isn't over yet.
ah! But I'm afraid it is over, boy. Boy! Not only this trial...
Red Tiger? Red Yeager? Red Yeager! Thank you for the sub!
Thank you for the support. Welcome to the Lime Call. Enjoy your new lime, friend. Thank you very, very much for supporting the channel.
Thank you, thank you.
Not only this trial, but your career too. You purposely concealed this conclusive evidence. That, my friend, is a serious offense. What about your tampering?
Fine, whatever.
I'm looking forward to pressing charges after the defendant is convicted.
You stole this evidence that I hid away for 2 years after taking it away from a crime scene that I tampered and used to push my own position of power. How dare you! He's fucking gay. No, not my badge, please.
I'll have your badge, boy. What's the matter, cat? Got your tongue? Aren't you going to tell us how it feels? How it feels to be the one who single-handedly turned a poor little girl into a murderer.
Before I do that, there's just one little thing I have to clear up.
Oh, and what's that?
Who really killed Prosecutor Neil Marshall?
What?
Chief Gant, you are absolutely right. This piece of cloth proves who the real murderer is. Who killed Neil Marshall, you ask?
It was a Miss Skye, wasn't it?
I'm afraid that's not possible. You see, this piece of cloth contains a critical contradiction.
What? A contradiction? What is this fool babbling about?
I'm talking about a contradiction. One that proves who the real killer is. I don't think he could absolute zero because of, like, he couldn't, Gant hadn't confessed to putting it in his safe. I think that's the determining factor there.
Mr. Wright, this piece of cloth, what could it possibly contradict?
Chief Gant, your tyrannical reign ends here.
Behold, the piece of evidence that contradicts this cloth.
Take that.
And what exactly is this supposed to be?
This is the picture Miss Skye took. Take a good look at it.
It's a picture that she took with the camera, making it a photograph.
See where the piece of his vest was cut out?
Yes, his shirt is showing underneath. It's hard to make out with all the blood on his vest, though.
Hello, Naisu!
Badge, I swear to God.
Exactly my point. His chest is soaked with blood. That's only natural. His lungs no doubt were punctured. Blood poured out of his mouth.
Oh, but that piece of cloth... Wait, there's no blood on it!
Since Emma Skye's fingerprints are on this cloth, there's no doubt that she shoved the prosecutor aside. However, Mr. Marshall was not impaled on the sword at that time.
No, this is nonsense!
Now then, Chief Gant, let me ask you something. Prosecutor Marshall was not impaled when he was shoved aside. He most likely hit his head on the ground and was knocked out. If so, then tell me, who could it have been? Who could have arrived at the scene before Miss Lana Skye, picked up the unconscious prosecutor, and impaled him on the armor's sword? Then, to make it look like Emma was responsible for the prosecutor's death, said person proceeded to write her name on the jar with the victim's blood. A jar that they then broke on purpose to leave behind a clue. And make Lana believe her sister did it.
Remember what you admitted only moments ago? That you personally cut out this bloodless piece of the victim's vest? Ironic, isn't it? Through the very act of creating insurance, you proved that you were the actual murderer!
It's finally all over. Oh, Christ. Oh, it's still going!
That was close, Righto. You almost had me. Sorry, but you'll have to do better than that. I refute your allegations. What do you mean you refute his allegations? You see, that piece of cloth is illegal evidence.
The law book!
It's coming into play!
What nonsense is this? Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a suspect. Remember, Aji? Earlier, old Righto here concealed that piece of cloth.
That's the difference between presenting it then and presenting it now. We had to prove that it was all him. He did the thing!
You do have some conclusive evidence, don't you?
Yeah, I like how we're getting bitched at for concealing evidence when using evidence as trump cards is literally how this court works.
Well, that's true. The defense did refuse to present evidence. At that moment, that piece of cloth ceased to be legal evidence.
But that's not fair!
Fairness.
Did you actually think you could best me in court? It looks like the last laugh's on you, son! I'm afraid Mr. Mr. Gant's claim is legally correct.
What I think I'm doing is I look at the word and then I take like a consonant from the second, like the next word along. So Gant became Glant because of claim. It's very weird.
Well, Mr. Edgeworth.
True, illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a person. Assuming, of course, that the evidence is indeed illegal.
Well, Mr. Wright.
It seems at last. The time for me to reveal my plan has finally arrived.
Do you admit to it? That you purposefully and illegally concealed this piece of cloth?
I did not. I admit that I refused to present it at one point.
Aha! So the evidence is illegal.
No, it isn't, Mr. Gant.
Huh?
It's not that I didn't present evidence then. It's that I couldn't.
What do you mean you couldn't?
There are certain procedures involved when presenting evidence.
No, Ajay, don't listen to his lies. He's nothing but a coward. You can't really believe.
There is only one issue left to be resolved in this trial. Is this evidence legal or not?
Very well, let us settle this once and for all. Earlier you refused to present evidence. If you can prove your conduct was not in violation of the law, then do so now.
This is my proof, Your Honor. Evidence law.
What's this?
I've done my homework too, Chief. Indeed, Emma Skye's fingerprints were on this piece of cloth. Yeah, I think it's because I'm reading and digesting the sentence as I read it, as I actually voice it, so I tend to just merge the words a little bit, sorry. However, at that point in time, this was merely a piece of cloth and nothing more.
What?
You see, it's written right here in this book. The second rule of evidence law. Rule number 1, no evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. I found this piece of evidence myself, inside your safe. It goes without saying I did not have approval from the police department.
Rule number 2, Unregistered evidence must be presented, must be relevant to the case on trial.
And here's the crux of the matter. You see, at the time it was impossible for me to prove the relevance between the cloth and the SL9 incident.
What? What kind of nonsense is this? You want relevancy? Just take one look at this picture and...
Sorry, but can you recall when was that picture presented?
That was shown only a few moments ago.
He's right. At the beginning of today's trial, that piece of cloth was still meaningless.
The person who gave it value as evidence was you, Damon Gant.
You yourself confessed to a certain truth.
Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Oh god, I give up.
No.
It was then that you approved this cloth as conclusive evidence. Yes, you, the chief of police, personally approved this cloth.
The only person who could have cut this from the victim's vest is the one who stood before Prosecutor Marshall in his final moments. In other words, the real murderer. And there's only one person who that could be. Damon Gant. The killer was you!
I knew I should have gotten rid of him. That good-for-nothing scum! For 2 years, he's been snooping around the department trying to get something on me.
I love that breakdown so much, it's so good.
Crimes are being committed every day, and yet he insisted on hounding me.
Well, your crime wasn't exactly petty.
He wanted to reinvestigate the case. He recruited Angel Starr, then convinced Bruce Goodman.
Detective Goodman?
Yeah, that's right.
See you later, Chromopon. Enjoy your barbecue.
Goodman turned him down, as he ought to. Still, Jake Marshall didn't know when to quit.
He stole Goodman's ID card and tried to take the evidence.
Goodman came to me that day. He wanted to file a lost item report. I went with him to the evidence room. And then all of a sudden he decided to speak out.
What are you talking about, Goodman?
Can you please reopen the investigation, Chief? We can't transfer the evidence out. There are too many questions left unanswered.
He opened his evidence locker, and as he was taking the evidence out, he said,
"It's not too late. I'm gonna hand all this over to Marshall."
Well, to be honest, I was a bit taken aback by his words. I had a bad feeling when he came to see me, but I'd never thought he'd bring up SL9. That's when I saw it. That accursed knife. I couldn't just pull it out.
Doing so would have only led to more blood, making it impossible to hide your crime.
Even so, the blood was just pouring out. I didn't know who might stumble in, so I hurried to wipe it up. I was worrying so much about the floor, I didn't realize my fatal mistake.
The bloody handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker.
I used to be known as the crime computer. But everyone has to start somewhere, I guess. I was too nervous. I had no business doing any of it.
Then you put the body in my car?
I'm sorry, I couldn't think of any other way to move the body. I broke your trunk, but what's the big deal? You make a lot more than us detectives ever will.
Leaving the prosecution's car aside, how? How could you get Miss Skye involved in all of this? I can't imagine he makes more than the chief of police, though, right?
Well, she had as much to lose as I did if the truth came out.
So you took the evidence from Detective Goodman's locker.
I felt bad for having to do it. I also didn't have the time to pick and choose what to take.
So you left the jar fragments in the glove.
Yeah. It looks like I was better off being an investigator of crimes than a committer. They all did their best to get in my way. I've got to hand it to them. They do their jobs well, much to my dismay.
Fake evidence doesn't hold up very well upon close examination. You must have known that.
Tell me, Worthy, why do you stand in court?
Me?
You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me, we're the same. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to go it alone. Well, looks like it's time to say goodbye. Oh, Ajay. Looks like we'll have to cancel that lunch date. Sorry, old friend.
You're only like a double murderer. So chill.
I'm sorry too, Damon Gant. I knew you as you used to be long ago. You were once a fine investigator and an example to others on the force. I'm sorry to learn that you are no longer that person. Those days are gone now, Edgy. Thanks for all the memories, though. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Now you have Wright here, and Worthy. With these two around, you can't go wrong. In fact, I can hear them already. The melodious sounds of a new beginning.
There are two things I want you to understand.
Yes?
First, your sister never hurt anyone. Second, Damon Gant betrayed you from the beginning. You see, Miss Skye, you no longer have any reason to keep silent.
You're right. When this trial is over, I'll tell everything. All that I've done these past 2 years. From the time I had Gant help me to forge evidence up until today.
So, it seems all the questions raised in this trial have been answered.
I'm sorry, Miss Skye. I couldn't get you out of all your trouble.
Welcome aboard.
Oh my goodness, Angel PV 0001! Thank you for the sub at tier 3, holy hackaroni! Enjoy your limes ayaya and your limes P. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Thank you. That is incredibly kind. Thank you very, very much.
A god sub, hells yeah.
My, what high standards you have for a rookie. I can see why Mia thought so highly of you. Who knows? A few years from now, you might just make it to the top. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. She smile!
Miss Skye.
And to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You've suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. Believe me, I know how much I know how much of an ordeal it has been for you.
It was nothing. Liar.
I was worried the pressure might break you. And yet, you rose above it all and guided Mr. Wright to victory. You've done well, Mr. Edgeworth.
Stop it! I only did my job. In light of this case, it seems a good self-examining is in order for all of us. Miss Skye,
Yes, Your Honor?
you're innocent of murder. However, although the chief blackmailed you, the fact is you still acted as his accomplice. A trial will be scheduled for these crimes at a later date.
Yes, I understand, Your Honor.
Is there something amusing about all of this? Why are you smiling?
It's been a long time, Your Honor. A long time since I felt free of these heavy chains.
Well, this trial has gone on far too long already. No shit. Regarding the charge of murder, this court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Skye.
Yay! Hey, Kufubot's back to normal.
That is all. This court is adjourned.
At long last, it's finally over. Emma? Why the long face? I'm sorry your sister didn't get completely off the hook, but at least she wasn't convicted for a murder she didn't commit.
No, that's not it. Just now, after the trial ended, I can see why Mia Fey thought so highly of you. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. And to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You've suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days.
Thank you so much for the 100 bits.
You've done well.
You know, I did my best too. But Lana didn't say a single word to me.
Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later.
Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it?
You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Making a detective run all around while on duty? And to top it all off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. Hey, lighten up, pals. I'm only kidding.
Oh. Are you here because of my sister again?
Nope, not this time. I came today because of you, pal.
Me?
That's right. I thought you'd like to see someone.
Lana!
Should you be doing this? She's still under arrest, you know.
Well, I won't tell if you won't.
Emma, I owe you an apology.
It's okay, sis. Don't worry about it.
That day 2 years ago was the first time in my life I ever panicked. It was all I could do to keep myself from screaming. All I could think about was keeping you from getting wrapped up in that mess.
Sis.
I asked Gant to help me cover up the truth. I thought I was doing it for your sake. But now I realize I was wrong. I changed after that day. I had to. It was the only way I could make it through the past 2 years. I knew how much I was hurting you by distancing myself, but I couldn't bring myself to tell you what I did. I was scared. Scared that you'd look at me with those eyes of yours. I was scared how you'd react if you knew.
But sis, you were only doing it for me.
No.
Huh?
I turned my back on you that day. In hiding what I believed to be the truth, I was deceiving you.
Sis?
I'm such a fool. It took me all this time to realize it. Emma, I'm so sorry. But sis, you don't have to apologize. I'm happy now. You're happy? Of course. You know, sis, I always knew that one day you'd come back. And now you have. Oh, Emma.
No one can change the past. The only thing we can do is strive to make up for our mistakes. Why must we make up for our mistakes, you ask? Because in so doing, we can find the way back to our rightful path. And it is from there that we can move on towards a brighter future. At least, that's what I felt watching the two sisters make up.
Mr. Wright, Mr. Gumshoe,
Me?
thank you both for all that you've done. I'm sure we'll meet again someday. Isn't that right, Edgeworth?
I'm sure we'll meet again someday, except they entirely forgot about my character. Feels bad. Edgeworth?
Wait a minute. It's you again?
321H-Mo, thank you for the resub! Thank you for the 18 months of support, and welcome back to the Lime Cult. Thank you very, very much for supporting the channel. I can confirm I don't think she's in a single game from this point.
Stop hiding and come over here.
Where was he hiding?
I just came to say, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth.
Right, well, I'll be going now.
Mr. Edgeworth, I hope you don't blame yourself for what happened.
No one really. Thank you so much for the 100 bits. Oh, I'm glad you enjoy it. Thank you, thank you.
We were the ones who acted corruptly, not you.
It's too late for me. No matter what anyone may say, I realize today that I can't correct my mistakes.
Mr. Edgeworth?
Not only that, but I don't even trust myself anymore. Chief Gant was right. I do despise criminals. I plan to dedicate my entire life to fighting them. But in order to fight crime on my own, I'd need a weapon. It's scary, but I've known that to be true for quite some time now.
But, Edgeworth...
Who knows, given enough time, I might have tried to pull something like Chief Gant did. That thought terrifies me. That's why I can't continue on as a prosecutor.
I don't remember if there's anything from here, just in case.
Edgeworth, don't you understand? Damon Gant and your mentor, Manfred von Karma, were both the best of the best when it came to fighting crime. But they both made the same mistake. You said in order to fight crime on my own, I'd need a weapon. That may be true, but think back to today's trial. You weren't alone. You were working together with Mr. Wright, and because of that partnership, you were able to present evidence that otherwise would have gone undiscovered. Isn't that right, Mr. Wright?
Huh? What? Oh, yeah. What is this, a pop quiz? Come on, Mr. Wright, show him what Lana's talking about. Fuck me. Something that neither Edgeworth nor I would have been able to find on our own. It's not the bad juice! God damn it! Fine, you know what? You deserve this. You deserve to disappoint Edgeworth. You're gonna make him cry, chat.
That might mean something to you, but I don't see how it had anything to do with our partnership.
Huh?
Mr. Wright, it seems you still have a lot to learn as well.
I guess that wasn't the right piece of evidence. You fucked it all up, chat. You made him cry. Look at him. God, making me save scum the game. God. Yeah, I did save. I saved because I knew you guys would scream about the badge. Can you imagine if it didn't save? I actually don't know the answer though. I don't remember. I mean, this, I guess Edgeworth had half of this and I had the other half. Badge, I swear to fucking God, next person that says badge is banned. Bye, Jade. You are unbanned, Jade. I think it is the list. Wait, did he give me the fingerprinting? I think it is a list because it's like taped together. Let me try this. Yay! No, Gray's not still banned. That's the picture I drew. Our counterattack began with this. You had one half of the evidence list and I had the other. Apart, we wouldn't have been able to completely restore Emma's picture. That didn't just happen by chance, Mr. Edgeworth. Oh, he's gonna cry anyway! Oh no! Hug him! Give him a hug! It's time for me to go. Is that the Zito in my chat? Quick, give him like 6 shoutouts! Don't let him escape! Mr. Edgeworth. If you'll excuse me. There are still some loose ends that need wrapping up. Take care, Chief Prosecutor. Edgeworth, what will you do now? Well, whatever you do, just remember. You can let what happened kill the prosecutor in you, or you can let it help you grow. In the end, it's up to you. I know. It seems I owe you my thanks too, Wright. But what I face now is my problem. Edgeworth, I'll be waiting for you in court. Farewell. I'd better be going too. Okay, but I'll be by to visit soon. It seems we both have a lot to learn and catching up to do. Here, this is a little something for you. Scientific investigation. It's the first book I ever bought. Study it well. Thanks, sis, I will. And so another case came to a close. As for the sisters, I have faith. Faith that their lives have only just begun. And as for me, I think it's time I started on a new journey of my own. A journey to rediscover myself. Well, don't go trekking off just yet, pal. Huh? What is it, detective? There's just a little matter to be resolved about the chief prosecutor. You see, she isn't supposed to be out of jail like this. But I thought you said it was okay. Yeah, well, it may be okay with me, but the folks at the prison are a different story. Huh? Basically, I had to bribe a guard in order to sneak her out for 30 minutes. Believe me, it wasn't cheap either. Huh? Way to go, detective. I didn't know you had a wild side. Yeah, well, you see, Mr. Wright here's the one who'll be footing the bill. Huh? Huh? Oh, wait. I think I know what's coming up, and I'm not sure how I'm gonna do it without the DS. What, you think I could afford it with my salary?
You gotta be kidding me, pal. Huh?
Thank you, Mr. Wright. You're the best.
Why is it I suddenly feel like I want to scream?
Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we all go pay it off together?
Yeah, that's a great idea. Come on, guys, let's go.
Aw, I didn't get to objection. Bullshit.
I arranged for a friend of mine in Europe to take care of Emma. I hope she'll be pleased to study under a top coroner. As for me, this affair has pretty much ended my days at the prosecutor's office. Still, I'll manage to find my way back to the field somehow. Then I'll be able to investigate crimes together with Emma.
I can't imagine they would ever let you do that, but then again, this is this video game. Sure, she has a record of evidence tampering, but she's cool now, I swear. I finished it sitting around in the lounge with my family at Christmas, Axorm. It was super awkward. Yikes, I thought I was a goner for a moment there. In the end, though, they overlooked my unauthorized investigation of the chief's office. If we penalized you anymore, it'd be worse than firing you. Yep, that's what they said. It just goes to show, you can't shake me off that easily. Yeah, I was kind of going,
Objection.
my new mission is to guard the main entrance and take care of Billy. Can you believe it? I've been demoted to a security guard. My partner's keeping an eye on the entrance for me today. I'll show them though. Someday I'm gonna make detective. Yes, sir! Then I could be just like that Dick Gumshoe! What a lofty goal. You aspire to great heights indeed. Da, 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 da. No! What is it? Can't you see I'm having me a showdown? Something. He's reading really quickly. Mr. I managed to sneak this into me from one of the guards. Well, cowboy, it looks like you did it. You even gave Bambina back her smile. Can you make sure Billy and the gang get their water? His text scrolled really quickly. Why is he arrested? Because he stole evidence and smacked and attacked Meekins, I would assume.
Looks like we won't be seeing each other for a while. As a farewell gift, I put a new meal on the menu. The Right Way lunch. The top layer tastes as bitter as defeat, but the bottom layer is as sweet as victory. Kids seem to dig the turnabout theme. It's a hot seller around exam time. Just make sure not to eat it backwards.
I'll never forget what that young defense lawyer said after the trial. Let's see, what was his name again? Mr. Left? Anyway, he said he's been doing something or other for how many years? Well, anyway, I've got another trial to get to, so I'd better be huh? Oh no, I forgot my gavel! Sorry, I gotta go.
Bye.
Thanks, Mario.
I mean, yeah, there's a chair behind him. You expect him to stand the entire time?
Nothing soothes the soul like fresh country air. Still, sometimes I do miss hearing you and your objection. Still, I can't go back until I'm a full-fledged spirit medium. Mystic Maya, afternoon training's about to begin. Coming! We'll see you around, Nick.
Nice, I like it.
I brought you your tea. What's going on?
Edgeworth, no. Will I play the second game as well? Yeah, I'll probably do it on a schedule, like maybe take a week's break or something, a couple weeks break, and then do it once a week on a Sunday or something like that. I think that would be fun.
Thanks for coming to see me off. I can't believe I'm going to Europe. Thank you, Mr. Wright. Thank you so much for everything. I'm a little sad, but I'll be alright. Whenever I want to see Lana, all I have to do is open this book.
Oh, it's so cute. Look at this photograph. Every time I do it makes me cry uncontrollably.
Alright. Ace Attorney Trilogy Game 1 complete! Hells yeah, we did it! It only took 10 million years! On to the next, fuck you. Thank you so much for joining me for the Ace Attorney adventures. I think when I want to go on to the next games, I'm gonna make it so that it's like a once a week thing, so Sundays are like Ace Attorney Day, something like that, just so that I don't get overwhelmed voice-wise and I can keep doing the voices, because towards the end there, most characters, like barring maybe Emma and Lana, didn't have a real voice. Just kind of gave up a little bit. Ugh.
Is that the Sino-kun getting a shout out in my— oh wait, you already did it. Nice job, Chippy.
Yeah, okay, so we're gonna switch games for now. Thank you so much for joining me for this one if you're heading out, but we're gonna play some Oxygen Not Included because I don't have anything else set up. It's a really good game. You get to fret about gas physics and things like that, so give me a second to get that done.
You're heading out? Good night, Chippy. Sleep well.
Let me change up the game real quick.